As someone who's a big fan of old school 2D platform games, Freedom Planet is a game which I've been following for a long time. Originally conceived as a Sonic the Hedgehog fan game, Freedom Planet instead evolved over time to become its own unique IP. The game released last year on Steam, and since then I've been eagerly awaiting a day that it would come to Wii U. However, due to a troublesome glitch that occurred when trying to get the game to run on Nintendo's console, Freedom Planet's March release date was postponed, and instead it arrived from the Wii U eStore this October. I finally managed to get my hands on the game, and despite really wanting to like it, after playing it for the last couple of days, I spent more time being frustrated with it than I have having fun. I feel like this game suffers from an identity crisis. Freedom Planet can't decide whether it wants to be Sonic the Hedgehog or whether it wants to be Battletoads. It's not all bad though, so first I'll start off with the positives. In terms of presentation, Freedom Planet certainly looks and sounds the part. This game could easily pass as a 16-bit Mega Drive game. The environments are all varied, full of colour and life. The soundtrack is just as brilliant, echoing some of the best games from the era that it's clearly inspired from. In terms of aesthetics, it's blindingly obvious that this game was first designed as a Sonic the Hedgehog fan game. All the playable characters look like they could easily exist in Sonic's universe, and the in-game power-ups, which includes invincibility, a water shield and an electric shield, are all pulled from the early Sonic games, both in terms of appearance and how they function. There also seems to be some inspiration taken from underrated gem Rystar, with Lilac's special attack resembling Rystar's shooting star animation. As someone who grew up with these kinds of games, seeing all these little references in gameplay mechanics including Freedom Planet makes me feel like a kid again. The platforming mechanics are also very good, with each character feeling unique enough to warrant an individual playthrough of the game's campaign. Mila is perhaps my personal favourite to play as. Her ability to fly to higher ground by flapping her ears, and her ability to create a shield which allows her to rebound bullets and projectiles, in my opinion makes her feel like a more rounded character than the other two, and I had most fun playing as her. However, before I move on to my main gripe with the game, I should mention the two different gameplay modes that are featured in this game. Classic mode consists of the player progressing through one level after another until they reach the end of the game, whereas adventure mode is essentially the same but with added cutscenes. Unfortunately, these cutscenes all include voice acting, which is some of the most absolutely atrocious my poor ears have ever had to listen to. These characters all sound like they were voiced by random people on the street, with Torque's whiny voice being the most annoying.
So you're the thief Lilac was talking about.
I've been called worse.
Where is it?
I've already finished the job. It's time for my brother to play his hand.
Your brother?
Prince Dale of Schwiegon.
Really?
When he finds the man who murdered our father, there will be no mercy for the kingdom responsible.
Furthermore, the script these voice actors were handed is extremely cringe-inducing. I suppose it is nice to have the option to be able to learn more about the story available for those who wish to, but I honestly can't even see children enjoying this awful attempt at a narrative. Where the game manages to completely fall flat on its face though, is when it comes to its ridiculous difficulty spikes and dreadful pacing. My first playthrough of the game was on normal difficulty as Lilac, and after reaching the halfway point of the game, accumulating 17 lives and only dying 4 times, I was genuinely thinking that this game was perhaps too easy. Well, boy was I wrong, because it's around this stage in the game that Freedom Planet transforms from a fun platformer into a not so fun one. The Sonic games all managed to be pretty difficult in the latter stages of the game, but their difficulty increase was gradual. Freedom Planet's on the other hand is like a slap to the face, a slap which sapped all my enjoyment out of the game. During the second half of Freedom Planet, the enemy count is up and more instant death traps appear, which in my opinion takes a lot of flow out of the game. I no longer felt like I wanted to explore the levels, instead I just wanted them all to end. And herein lies another problem. The levels in this game are all far too long. There are 9 levels in each character's campaign, as well as a final boss area which is split into 4 sections. Some of these levels can take upwards of 20 minutes to complete, and if you want to quit the game and come back, then you'll have to start the entire level again. This is extremely frustrating, especially when some levels contain multiple bosses to overcome. I have no idea why these levels weren't just split up into different acts like in the Sonic games, because as it currently stands, a lot of them feel like a slog to get through. The boss battles, especially those after the halfway point, are complete odds with the rest of the game. These bosses take around 20 or so hits to defeat, whilst being able to destroy the player with just a couple. This means boss fights can drag on for a hell of a long time, making it extremely frustrating when you have to die and start over. A lot of boss fights feel like they're really badly designed, and are more a test of patience than actual skill. Some of the arenas where these boss encounters are found feel too big or too small, and as a result I've experienced many deaths by attacks that suddenly appeared from off screen, leaving me little to no time to react. I often ended up just using the cheapest tactic I could find in order to progress past a boss. This isn't fun, this is just plain tedious. The game's final boss was such a pain in the arse that on my first playthrough I decided to change the difficulty setting to easy just to be able to complete it. I should note that my second playthrough of the game was as Mila. I decided to play on easy rather than normal, and although the game was a tad more enjoyable, a lot of the problems I have mentioned still exist. and to be honest I have no idea why Freedom Planet features a difficulty selection at all. All it does is to serve to make the game more frustrating. I didn't feel any overwhelming sense of pride or satisfaction when I finished Freedom Planet, instead I was just relieved when the game was finally over. Providing a challenge doesn't always have to equate to a frustrating experience. I love the Soul series of games for example, but Freedom Planet's difficulty spikes just don't feel at all consistent with the rest of the game. What begins as a charming platformer turns into some kind of frustrating boss rush game. I really wanted to like this game, but unfortunately it just didn't click with me at all. It does have a lot of good ideas, but it feels like they are thrown all over the place, and as such it makes it hard for me to recommend it to anyone. So thank you very much for watching, please like and comment if you enjoyed or hated this video, and I hope to see you soon. Till next time, goodbye.